Hello, good morning. I'm very happy to host you here on behalf of during Warsaw Autumn Festival 66th edition. And because it's a first meeting within a series of meetings with composers, and also because of a special case, let me say, with so amazing and also puzzled personage. I mean, Fozié Majd. Let me say a few words before, and how it happened that we are here at this moment in such state. Hello, Mrs. Majd. Hello, Mrs. Majd. I'm Jurek Kornowicz. I'm very pleased to see you and enjoy our, let's say, common presence. And let me say now a few words of introduction to the audience gathered here with us. So, Aleksandra will soon...
I can't hear you. One moment, I can't hear you.
Okay, now I will say a few words to our guest here, present here. And soon Aleksandra will take over microphone and will continue talk herself with you. So now I'm going to turn to the audience. So I'm coming back to the plot. Not longer than a few months ago, I heard music by Fozié Majd. As you probably know, we are working together with a so-called repertoire committee, shaping the program of the festival. Speaking frankly, I do not remember from what sources her music came to me. From you, Martina? You gave me recording? It is Martina who's deserved for promoting and informing about Persian and Iranian music is difficult to unappreciate. Turned my attention to personages of Fozié Majd, and then I get to become a madcap regarding her music. I couldn't even. I would say that it is difficult to define how his music is conceived, from source it's coming, in what cultural sphere was composed, when. It was very puzzling situation, and as you noticed, maybe some of you present yesterday at the concert, her music has very special and modern features. For example, something like state parts, lasting and with very discreet development. It is with iconism in music. It is quite fresh idea. We know it from a few decades in minimal music from States, but also in a little bit closer to pop music, to noise music, to all this state of emergency, not emergency, of zatopienie, immersing in music. So I was very confused when I came to know that the piece which we had yesterday was composed in 1971. So this piece has 52 years. It is incredible. So we put our efforts to make possibility you to hear and to be familiar with the personage of Fozié Majd. And we are very happy that thanks to the help of the people of the goodwill, and first of all with the help of Martina Kosecka and her part in the reconstruction of the score, practically, we will manage to prepare new performing materials and just a composed concert with her piece. So I think that everything was puzzling in it. We knew nothing about the next to nothing about our hero. heroine. I would like to emphasize that much more, me personally, I came to know from the article was published a few days before at Visando, and written by Karolina Cieślik-Jakubiak. Are present, welcome you here. And I realized from this article that everything what I knew before, it's next to nothing. And thanks to Mrs. Karolina fluency in Persian, she reached to the materials which was unachievable from our, let's say, European languages perspective. All the more the personage of Fozié Majd still being very puzzled, as well regarding her biography, her music line. It's difficult to say the music career because it's absolutely alternative life of with music, with composing. So we are now a little bit closer to resolve some secrets and to come to know, thanks to this miracle, to have internet connection. It's the first internet connection which is still working after a few days of achievements on different occasions, because we wanted to have a connection for rehearsals, and it was impossible because of the speed of the internet, and it is possible maybe because of big political tension taking place now in Iran. And one mystical circumstance of yesterday's concert. It's difficult to say that we organize it exactly by our will, by a choice, especially this concert of the first jubilee of first anniversary of a killing young lady, Gini Masha Amini. Former year, she was killed by political secret service in Iran, and it's a context for the tension taking place now in Iran, and something like what was situating us in the sphere of science, which are a lot of around the personages of our heroine, Fozié Majd. So welcome once more, and I hope that this meeting will approach us closer and closer to the many aspects for which we would like to ask Fozié Majd.
So hello again. Now it's my turn. Fozié, I hope that you could hear something from Mr. Kornowicz, the director of Warsaw Autumn Set, about you and your music and how this happened, that we could have on the concert your music. Can you hear us, or the connection is not so good? You can't hear us. You can't hear us properly, okay?
I'm deeply sorry. There is a technical problem. We cannot hear anything our composer says. So we have to stop it for a moment and try to find a solution.
Okay, Fozié, so we're gonna try to fix this situation. We're gonna connect you again, okay? So please don't leave us. We're gonna try the settings to hear each other better, okay? Yeah? Okay, so we try to connect you again. Okay. Yes, it's disturbing and it's noisy right now. I can hear it. No dobrze, to jest taki moment, proszę Państwa, kiedy prowadzący musi się zamienić trochę w reklamę albo zasłonić coś, co się tutaj dzieje za nami. Kompozytorkę mamy, mam nadzieję, że zaraz to naprawimy. Sorry, this should be, no, Polish and English, okay. So now I am a sounding object. Jeszcze raz Państwa witam bardzo serdecznie. Rozpoczął dzisiejsze spotkanie dyrektor Warszawskiej Jesieni Jerzy Kornowicz. Bardzo dziękuję, Jurku, za to wprowadzenie. I jest to, wydawałoby się po covidowym okresie, normalna sytuacja, że możemy się połączyć, no ale nie zawsze, już chyba nie chcemy tych połączeń tak bardzo online, że zamieniło nam się to w obraz raczej brzmiący, ale za chwilę mam nadzieję, że wrócimy do spotkania i zadamy kilka pytań kompozytorce. So I'm extremely happy and I feel so honored and so blessed to welcome all of you at this meeting with our fantastic, amazing composer looking at us from the screen right now, Fozié Majd. And I really feel so blessed, but I would like also to thank Martyna Kosecka and Idin for helping us with this connection and not only to introduce us to Iranian music and show us how beautiful this music is, colorful, and also to bring us this information how much we don't know about this music. So we should learn more. And the background is, of course, so amazed. It's so fantastic. Ja również dziękuję pani za przybycie. Mamy tutaj iranistkę dzisiaj wśród nas też, specjalistkę, która włączyła się we wspaniałym głosie, komentującym też tę postać. No, pani kompozytorka jest teraz dla nas też obiektem dźwiękowym, bez dźwięku chwilowo. Zobaczymy zaraz, jak to się uda. Szanowni państwo, jesteśmy po wykonaniu utworu wczoraj, który właśnie celebruje też 50 lat istnienia. I 52, tak, a premierowe wykonanie to chyba 1973 rok, jeśli dobrze pamiętam. I jest to spotkanie z muzyką, oczywiście to będzie banalne, co powiem w tej chwili, ale to jest spotkanie z muzyką, do której Europejczyk musi dorosnąć. Perfect. Okay. So no more commercials from my side. It's enough, good enough. Hello again. Hello again. Yes. Oh, perfect. I'm so happy to hear your voice. And
now.
yes, is it good enough? Yes, it's okay. So I try to make my best, to keep the audience here with us because we could only see your beautiful face on the screen. But thank God now we can listen each other. So welcome to Warsaw, Fozié. And thank you so much for being with us. And first of all, thank you for your music. This evening yesterday was incredible, just incredible. I was so amazed, I was so touched to hear this music in real, and I hope that also the audience could feel the same. Even if you were not in person with us, we could feel your presence, and this is just unbelievable. That's not happen all the time, and it's impossible all the time, it's not always like this, so thank you for this. Can you please tell us more about this music, about the atmosphere, the background when you compose this piece? Can you tell us more about this music?
I would try, but writing music, you begin by having an idea of whatever happens after that. Sometimes, I often, not sometimes, often, I have written a piece of music, and then when I've gone back to it, I keep asking myself, did I write this music? I mean, there are certain moments you're not aware of what is happening. And to talk about writing this process of, or like poetry, words come. The feeling is there, everything comes. And to be able to talk about it, I find it difficult. But I will tell you, before writing Shabkuk, I had started journey in the northeastern province of Khorasan. And I was absolutely taken by it. I mean, it was beyond my understanding what happened. And then I arrived, after a couple of weeks, I arrived in a town called Tabas. And that night, I had this enchanting feeling of the stars in the night. I couldn't get over the beauty of the night, of those stars shining on even my dreams. And I was watching it. And I think something must have happened because I kept hearing a note, just one single note. And it kept repeating itself and kept repeating itself. And then when I got back to Tehran, that note kept repeating. And then I was commissioned to write a piece of music for the NIRTV Chamber Orchestra. And then I thought, why don't I start with that note? And then I can understand what is happening, perhaps. So I started with that one single note. Shapuk starts with that high E and the harmonic. And it was the idea of this nocturnal nights, these nocturnal sounds, this feeling I had brought back with me from my journey, I think, that helps to continue. And yeah, that's it. So what I thought perhaps musically I should talk about it. It was thinking of one idea only and not having any contrast. You know, the idea of having a theme, however, whatever, and then following it with another idea and having the duality of one idea facing another idea, and shall we say, the turmoil that can arise from this duality. There is nothing of that kind. I kept hearing of one note, and I only wanted to think of one note or one sound. Where would it get it? And so I tried to follow it. I mean, it is not completely one idea from the beginning to the end of the first movement, because afterwards then I go to another note. I go to the F area. But in the beginning, it's all about me, the note, in high harmonics. And then at the end, I go a bit later. But I have the idea in the second movement as well. And you only have the trills of bassy and the cello. And then the third movement is just have the F, the fa, which is so prominent. You have it as a plus. You have the quarter tone above, the quarter tone below, the half tone, and everything can be heard together. And sometimes, not always, perhaps just the one. But the fourth movement, I think the idea was having a kind of disintegration of ideas. And I kept repeating those clusters, and the idea that one or two notes come out of the clusters. And this is what should be concentrated on, as though you have an idea that suddenly can get concentrated after being very, very disturbed. Then it just comes out in one note, in two notes, as a kind of a flow of an idea that can actually get somewhere. But the final movement, it's just one idea, to be quite honest. And it's that thrill motion of the instruments. But now they get together. They get together and they continue on to the end, when it goes and finishes with trills. and then you arrive at the E note. I'm sorry, I have a lot of disturbance while talking. I don't know what it is. And that was the idea. And then finally, when it finished, I realized that I had been really traveling through my journey through the night that I had experienced. Not always those effervescent stars. Sometimes it was quite the contrary. But but this is it.
Thank you so
Have
much.
I made myself clear?
Yes, I'm sure. This piece has been written in the moment when I can call this time golden age of Iranian music and also for ethnomusicology. Yes, am I correct with this?
Well, ethnomusicology. I don't think it has anything to do with my writing. Yes, I was very interested in gathering music in Iran. In the provinces, not all, of course. Time with the religion. But I don't think I can link it with musicology. No. I think it was purely what happened when I heard that just once or not. It's good.
That's very
And
interesting.
I just having one idea only. So it had nothing to do with me. In a process, obviously, more than anything. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for this interesting, very interesting information. Because immediately, for me, being a musicologist and also ethnomusicologist, it's always very, very important. Where is this connection between?
You are an ethnomusicologist.
Yes, I'm also ethnomusicologist. So I was immediately concentrate on this, this background. And when I found in your biography all of this information that you heard, and you even transposed some original songs, I thought that this is the idea. So sorry, sorry, this is my question coming from. But I understand that you also you're building a bridge between Western music, European music, and Iranian music. But what was very touching for me, whenever I found information about you, mostly I see this information that you're Persian composer. Because for the younger composers, much often I see information I'm Iranian composer. This is very interesting to me. It looks like, for me, it's like keeping the tradition from this without understanding the culture, the meanings, the symbols and metaphors. It's just impossible. I think about Persian music and Persian culture and Persian empire, which is so colorful and so interesting. So is this important for you? And how this is important for you to go back to this tradition? And this what I found, like your Persian composer.
I did play the santur, and I was taught the radifs of Iranian classical music. But I think it's a completely different world. And because the radifs, the lascars, based on the lascar, they're purely melodic. I mean, it's a symphony of melodic music. Each item, each cliche has one particular melody, one very much akin to one before. But the whole idea is how you can develop that idea of melody. And so it's very powerful. It was very beautiful. It was a wonderful experience for me. But whether as a composer, I tried to do that and get the idea of this effervescence is the word that I can use of melodic ideas. You don't get it in chapbook. In chapbook, you get one note only. I don't think I have never related myself to classical music. Now, I have my next work. I did write a piece of music in Charga, in the Gaspar of Charga. And then I did take the idea of and left it in a, shall I say, in a interface. You might say Western, I don't know, but for me it's what in it. I think about it and the Western, you know. What is important for me is what happens inside your thoughts, your heart, your feeling, your knowledge, your originality, the way you can play with music, the way you think music, the way you think music is the sole idea of creation. It's very interesting to think that. But I only one work I think, well, I did try to get somewhere near the Iranian music, classical music, not the regional music. Because regional music is a different world. And then you go to Warsaw, start, go to Sistan. On a Sistan, I did get an idea I could do English to on my own. And actually, it's done. But apart from that, I know I'm back to see. I don't know. I don't see it like you were working. This is not my interpretation. You had your ideas. It's really interesting. I'm interested to hear. Personally, I really didn't think. No, I think the idea of the tuning of the night, the tune to the night, or true to the night, it is really a completely inner experience. What you think or other people think is very interesting.
Thank you so much. Also, another one question for me, and I'm sure that the audience is going to have a lot of questions to you. I was thinking about your background, musical background, when I heard first of your pieces. It's Dreamland, In Absentia, and some part of your theater or film music. This brings me to your childhood. What do you remember from your childhood? And is this like traditional music and classical music together? That's what I found in information, that you have this German teacher, and at the beginning, of course, the classical music, the classical background. But also I found an information that your mother was playing on these traditional instruments, which are typical for, it's hard to say, but tar and setar, yes, the string instruments, and tabuk also the.
Yeah,
Is this the background?
The top when she was a child, I think about a girl of 12, 11, 13. But I don't think that was an issue. I mean, girls at that time, they were supposed to learn an instrument. And so she was taught it. She never took it serious. It was not an event to be like, but I was, my first teacher was a German lady. I must have been about 5 or 6. She was, her name was Madame Rosenblau, Paul Rosenblau. I never knew what happened to her. Because we left Tehran for the northern mountains, or a bit further north of Shimron area, and I couldn't go back to have my piano teaching. And so it was a very short town. And but I do remember her very well. She had a bun. In her hair was back, she had hired a top floor in a house, and she had a grand piano. And now, when I think of it, how did she manage to bring that grand piano to Tehran? I have no idea. Where did she come? She couldn't have come from Germany.
That's so interesting. Thank you for this beautiful memory also. I'm so sorry. It's a lovely conversation, but I forgot completely about a little resume in Polish. So for the audience, okay? So 1 minute for us. Bardzo przepraszam Państwa. Tak się zasłuchałam, podobnie zresztą jak Państwo, w tę cudowną rozmowę i troszkę zapomniałam o tym, że miało być małe resume. Ja sobie pozwoliłam zadać pytania związane z taką stroną dzieciństwa kompozytorki teraz, z taką podstawą jej muzyczną, co wyniknęło oczywiście z wcześniejszego pytania. Przyznam się szczerze, że snułam takie przekonanie, że utwór, którego słuchaliśmy wczoraj na koncercie, jest inspirowany muzyką tradycyjną, perską. Natomiast Fozié zwróciła uwagę na to, że to jest po prostu inspiracja jednym dźwiękiem zasłyszanym, dosłownie, z tego jednego dźwięku. Niemniej jednak ja wyczuwam mimo wszystko jako Europejka, proszę wybaczyć mi tutaj tą interpretację, myślę, że to nie będzie nadinterpretacja, zresztą mamy tu też właśnie specjalistów, więc się nie obrażą, jeśli w ten sposób ujmę to zagadnienie, że jednak to słuchanie jednego pojedynczego dźwięku jest inne w tamtej kulturze, aniżeli dla Europejczyków. I dostrzeganie piękna, które wynika z transformacji tego dźwięku. Tutaj tylko taka mała uwaga, że jeśli słuchamy muzyki tradycyjnej, irańskiej, to tam jest całe źródło w poetyce, w rytmie tej poetyki, w skalach, właśnie w monodźwiękowym podążaniu, trudno mi to przełożyć na język polski wprost, i nasłuchiwanie dosłownie jednego dźwięku, który ma swoje znaczenie w skali. To ja przepraszam za to takie dodatkowe tutaj ujęcie, ale jest ja takie żywie przekonanie, że jednak słuchanie nawet pojedynczego dźwięku buduje jednak taki pomost pomiędzy nami, jak my, Europejczycy, zwracamy uwagę na ten pojedynczy dźwięk, a tutaj kompozytorka nie, właśnie nie. Nie powiedziała, jaki to był dźwięk. To były dźwięki dla każdej części utworu. Był to inny dźwięk. Przejście od E. Aha, no właśnie, bo ja tego nie słyszałam dobrze. Taka komórka dźwiękowa. No właśnie, ja tego dobrze nie słyszałam. Okay, so it's a part in Polish right now to the audience. A wcześniejsze pytanie, które zadałam...
Melodic language,
Melodic language, thank you. That's most often I hear that Polish language is like like this. It's like whispering, or it's a little bit noisy. So okay, let's finish the sentence and we're gonna be back to you. A zatem rzeczywiście jeden dźwięk, od którego zaczyna się cała opowieść. Natomiast wcześniej ja się tutaj porwałam na moje też etnomuzykologiczne korzenie i stąd właśnie to pytanie o ideę utworu, a drugie właśnie pytanie było skupione bardziej wokół dzieciństwa i tutaj pojawia się właśnie ta magiczna postać nauczycielki pani Rosenblau, która była Niemką, ale Fozié mówi, że niestety nie wie, co się później dalej wydarzyło i czy ona faktycznie wróciła do Niemiec, czy pozostała w Iranie. Raczej jej życie było związane z Iranem, ale nie do końca. Ja mam jeszcze jedno pytanie do kompozytorki, jeśli Państwo pozwolicie, ale później już oddaję Państwu zdecydowanie głos, bo myślę, że to już czas dla Was. Ja chciałam jeszcze teraz zapytać o jednak ten jej wątek etnomuzykologiczny i o konkretną wręcz prowincję, konkretne miejsce, w którym pracowała, bo myślę, że to jest bardzo interesująca część jej pracy. Okay, so I have one more question to you, and again, from my part, this ethnomusicological part, because I found this so interesting, and as far as I know, your research, you're dedicated to Great Khorasan, which now is separated to 3 different provinces. So as we know, Iran is 31 provinces, and the Great Khorasan means now the east part, yes? And why did you find so interesting this place?
Sorry, can you repeat yourself?
Oh, yes,
I
okay.
didn't get
Okay, okay, yeah. So my question was about your ethnomusicological research. And I found that you're dedicated your work in this subject to Great Khorasan, which now means 3 different provinces. It's in Iran, it's 31 provinces. It's really huge country and huge culture. What you found so interesting in this play? It's a multicultural place and very interesting. And you're dedicated your work to this part of Iran as a historical region. Can you tell us more about this?
When I decided that I'm very intrigued about music in the provinces, and I know nothing, that pains me. I seek to find out. So I decided to make a journey in order to collect music in the various areas in Iran. Then I thought, well, where do I begin? How do I begin? Where do I go? And what I thought very carefully, and it occurred to me that finally Khorasan would be the really historical area of Iran, shall we say. And I would be very interested to know about the music there. And I had an idea. Someone told me they'd gone to a place called Forbatijam. There was a flute player, a ney player, a blind ney player, playing some very beautiful music in a cemetery. On a grave. I said, what an idea. Or someone played the flute in the cemetery, or how interesting. In the Shiite region of Iran, also flute in a holy place like and anyhow. So I decided to go there. I decided to start in Prowadząca. And then, of course, it was so rewarding. And it was the beginning of Shapuk, really, the whole idea. So that's how it began. And then I realized that Khorasan had many interesting musical areas, and especially the northern Khorasan. And then finally, I thought I would concentrate on the northern part of Khorasan, right to the frontier of Turkmenistan, which was then part of Soviet Russia. It was really rewarding. And I have always thought that I found myself in that experience. I mean, inner perspective to my life, to my ideas about music, about everything, about finding a keen musicians. But they were not composers in my idea of Western music to be a composer. But they were very original in the way that they could play everything by heart and then be able to make something of the material they had learned. So then I stopped feeling so grand. And realized that there was one difference between and these musicians and the orgs. And before being an idea of being a composer somehow gave me some sort of distinction, which then I thought there was no reason. And so it was a very rewarding experience in my life. And I loved it. I loved it. And every moment of it. To be with other musicians and projecting, recording, talking, hearing, knowing about their lives, knowing how they experience music. So, as I said, it was a wonderful time.
Thank you so much. So a little summary again in Polish, if you don't mind, okay? Drodzy Państwo, tutaj pojawia się znowu wątek pojedynczego dźwięku i to jest właśnie cudowne zagadnienie, które nas jednak do utworu, którego słuchaliśmy wczoraj, przenosi. Natomiast rzecz ważna, ja tutaj oczywiście nie chcę być mądrzejsza na zasadzie czy kura, czy jajko, ale nie wiem, na ile Państwo są też bliscy jakby rozumienia i pozycji, którą dla świata muzycznego w ogóle kompozytorka, z którą dzisiaj rozmawiamy, jakie ma ogromne zasługi, też właśnie dla etnomuzykologii. Ja zapytałam ją o to, kiedy się zaczyna kiedy jest ten początek, kiedy ona się interesuje i dlaczego wybrała sobie na przykład właśnie Khorasan jako dzisiaj, są to 3 różne prowincje w Iranie, do badania. To jest region niezwykle bogaty muzycznie. Samo pochodzenie instrumentów nawet już jest bardzo interesujące, bo ono jest nieoczywiste i dotyka kilku dzisiejszych w ogóle krajów. Tu się pojawia u Fozié bardzo ciekawa opowieść o tym, że właśnie ten dźwięk pojedynczy słyszy grany na flecie, na instrumencie, który być może jest fletem na cmentarzu nad grobem. Jest to muzyka żałobna, którą ona słyszy i dopiero jest to początek ceremonii. I zadaje sobie sama pytanie, co wie o tej muzyce i na ile ona jest jej bliska, co powinna wiedzieć na ten temat. To się wpisuje w taką złotą erę badań etnomuzykologicznych. Lata 50., 60. Jest to taki moment, kiedy też europejska i amerykańska etnomuzykologia przeżywa taką drugą falę, powiedzmy, ale wcześniej it's going to be a question to Idin also about the book Fozié. It's the first book when the Persian scale are described, yes, to the system that is recognized to European. 1927 rok, a więc książka pierwsza, która w ogóle tłumaczy skalę w muzyce perskiej. Dopiero się rodzi nowe poczucie narodowości, prawda, w Iranie i za chwileczkę i właściwie można powiedzieć, że nasza bohaterka dzisiaj dorasta z nowym Iranem, z nowym rozumieniem tej państwowości. Więc to ma też ogromne znaczenie i tak się zaczęła jej przygoda ze zbieraniem pieśni i dowiadywaniem się czegoś więcej. Tu jest symboliczne też to rozumienie melodii. Melodii, która nie przekłada się ani na polifonię europejską wprost. Podążanie za tą melodią to są wszystko znaczenia, miejsca w skali. Właśnie ten wybór dźwięków, to wszystko jest uzasadnione, dlatego że my przez jakąś transformację przechodzimy. Proszę mi wybaczyć te takie wtręty troszkę tutaj tłumaczące. To nie jest tak, że ja chcę być mądrzejsza od kompozytorki, ale czasami to podłoże właśnie też etnomuzykologiczne jest konieczne. Ja oddaję kompozytorkę w Państwa ręce. Bardzo proszę o pytania, bo na pewno takie się urodziły, tylko prosimy o pytania do mikrofonu. So, Fozié, I think it's now a time to our wonderful audience. You can't see them, but you're gonna hear them, and I'm sure that they're gonna have questions to you also. So, it's an open discussion right now with you. Czy ktoś z Państwa chciałby zadać pytanie?
Who is asking? Who is asking?
Here. Audience.
Is that Mr. Korowicz?
Okay, maybe you can somebody here? Okay, here we have the audience. And I asked, I asked them if they have questions to you about your music. Okay. Yes, Dyrektor Jerzy Kornowicz.
If Fozié asked me to have a question, I am ready immediately. Because there's so many. Could you hear me, Fozié? It's okay now?
Is it okay? Can you hear us? Is it fine? Can you hear us?
Hello, it's Jerzy Kornowicz speaking with one question from many which I wanted to ask you.
Kaperzano.
Why?
Okay. Dobrze, to może
We change
jednak tu.
my microphone maybe.
Yeah, w
What's the difference? Is it now? Could you hear me, Fozié? Yes. Hello again.
Hello.
Hello. I have one question which seems to be too simple. Maybe your answer will allow me to avoid such simplification, which I.
And Mr. Is that Mr. Kornowicz?
Yes, it's me, Jerzy Kornowicz. It is
Hello,
my
Mr. Kornowicz.
it's my view.
How are you?
And voice, hopefully. The question is how it was in your case, because you were educated in a, let's say, Western manner, with Western set of ideas. It is a time in Iran of, let's say, official politics directed to Westernization, maintained by Reza Pahlavi and his, let's say, political alliance. And as far as could find in your biography, you were perfect educated in this manner, not only in Iran, but also in Germany, in France. You studied with even legendary personage of Nadia Boulanger, who was very important for many Polish composers, also
Yes.
making various
Yes.
studies with her.
I know.
You studied at Sorbonne, ethnomusicology, so it's a, let's say, crucial point for the, let's say, let me say, exportation of the French model and point of view of the world. They call it civilisation française. I like this term. I'm trying to launch the term civilisation polonaise, but we are still in process in it. So my question is, when, if it is something justified that you change this direction from so-called Westernization to return to, whatever to say, to your roots, to your to the ideas characteristical for Iran and Persian culture, and how it happened, and when and why it possible break took place. This big change from the Western set of ideas and culture to your decision to make it to save your national culture a little bit in reaction to official politics of Iran, and in a certain way against your, let's say, family line, because your father, as far I know, was promoter of this Western model, educated you this way. It is something like a riot, family conflict also, presage of protest against Westernization, I know that is probably it is too simple, sad, but I will be very, very happy to hear your answer. How it was with your intellectual and this also inner personal evolution.
Um, 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 you know, better with music is an inner way. It has to do with your personality, with your background, education, your culture, everything. I mean, you are the product of a certain culture. When I came back to Iran, as you have mentioned, I went to school, or I went even in Iran, I went into a French school, Jeanne d'Arc, and then I was sent to Britain for boarding school. And then I went to university in Scotland, in Edinburgh. So, as you mentioned, I came back completely educated in Western ideas of music. What happened was, I would be interested to think more about this and your idea too. I began I was suddenly interested in learning a percussion, Iranian instrument. I thought, how come you are Iranian and you play the piano? Well, you know nothing about Iranian music. Or what is this? Why do people shall we say, educational background, the musicians who are educated abroad, why are they why do they think themselves so superior? Or where is the superiority? Of course, we won't have Beethoven, we won't have Bach. But what do we have? This is an ancient country. And first of all, I think what intrigued me more than anything, and really perhaps took me to Iranian music, was the literature of Iran. Ferdowsi, Hafiz, Sam, Hafiz, all the poets that I loved. I realized that this is there is their incredible literature, which is really near to Iranian hearts. Everybody can quote Hafiz. Everybody can talk about them at that time. About Sadi, about Butler, the household, and people knew their literature very well. And I began to feel a bit sorry for myself. Well, you know nothing about Iran. And so begin. And it happened. So I started with an instrument. I started the sanctum. And I began to dub it. I began to love the Yiddish I was playing. What I understood then, the difference between Western, I don't want to talk about the difference, but I realized that by playing the santur, I was not playing a Beethoven sonata. I was not playing a Mozart sonata. I was not playing a Chopin nocturne. I was not playing Messiaen. I was in taxi an inner experience, like completing letting myself go in the various little pieces that each Lascar is made of. I could find the connection between these 20 odd pieces. And when I began to rehearse and rehearse and rehearse, I realized that I was experiencing something. And I was allowing to be carried away and finding myself, because I have to be instrumental. I have to play it in order to understand it, in order to experience. But that playing of some sort and playing the Lascars just took me to another experience, which was different from playing Beethoven, from having my set ideas about Cube and Bach and everything. And that's how I found it. In some moments, it's really important, quite honest, by playing and having this experience. That's where I began. By my feeling very sorry for myself for not knowing about Iranian music. Yeah, I was in Iran and I couldn't play in Iranian instrument. I couldn't talk about Iranian Lascar music. I mean, you know, whenever I contacted very well-known Iranian musicians versed in the art of Lascar and Gadi music, I would feel so shameful not being at their level. And then I was an Iranian musician. So that's how it began, really. Showing maybe sort of affiliation with Iranian culture, which I couldn't have by just being a Western musician.
Many thanks. I will make a little bit brief now. There's no still good connection. Maybe Fozié, you would avoid touching microphone when you are speaking and not moving.
No.
Sorry?
I'm sure.
Could you take your microphone closer to your mouth and not to move the headphone also because we have some additional noise. But it's possible to understand. Now
I have the same problem. Problem.
Okay, so it's maybe on the way.
I can't
Just a few words for the audience. Tak mówiąc krótko, rzeczywiście był moment przejścia. Nie zrozumiałem dokładnie, kiedy on nastąpił. Natomiast jak się można byłoby domyśleć, bardzo ważna dla Fozié Majd jest literatura i kontakt z żywymi muzykami perskimi. Czyli można powiedzieć, że idee i język i żywa uprawiana kultura po części w dużej mierze improwizowana zdeprawowały ją, czy można powiedzieć z punktu widzenia zachodniego i spowodowały ten nawrót do korzeni. Nie odpowiedziała mi na pytanie, na ile to była kontrreakcja. Wydaje się, że to był jakiś naturalny rozwój i zupełnie to pytanie, które chciałbym zadać, ale może ono jest nazbyt techniczne i zupełnie nic nie było o inspiracji konkretnymi pomysłami w muzyce zachodniej obecnymi. Więc, ale nie chcę Państwa powstrzymywać już od Państwa pytań. Miałbym kilka takich kwestii konkretnych. Skąd wzięła taki, a inny pomysł w jej muzyce? Czy słyszała go u innych kompozytorów, czy to jest spontaniczne, ale może to jest jej własne, ale może to jest zbyt detaliczne. Olu, oddaję Ci w takim razie mikrofon. Thank you, Fozié. Thank you very much. Ola is coming back to microphone, to computer. I will maintain the meeting.
With two microphones right now, okay? So feel like a DJ. Another one question from the audience, maybe, if you have, please. Yes?
Żeby może pani kompozytor jakoś rozwinęła wątek właśnie inspiracji, jacy kompozytorzy mieli największy wpływ na panią kompozytor. Tutaj bym chciała się dowiedzieć.
Rozumiem, że chodzi globalnie w ogóle
Tak,
o
czy to są
tak?
europejscy, czy irańscy.
Okay, so we have one question from the audience, and the question is about the inspiration. Do you have? You can hear.
The voice is very bad. The connection is bad now.
Oh,
No.
can
I
you
can't- I
hear
can't
me?
understand.
I'm gonna be talking slowly. Yes, can you hear me right now? How this works? How it works? Can we hear each other still? Yeah.
I can't hear. I do not. It's very bad, the connection. Maybe one moment, please.
Okay. So, time for a commercial again. Nie odpowiem pani na to pytanie. Tutaj nie będę mądrzejsza jako jajko od kury, albo odwrotnie. Natomiast ja ciągle odczuwam takie wrażenie, powiem państwu szczerze, że jednak to słuchanie muzyki jest trochę inne, prawda? To odczuwanie, tu bardzo, bardzo wracam tą myślą do momentu, kiedy nasza kompozytorka, bohaterka naszego spotkania zaczęła zajmować się rzeczywiście muzyką tradycyjną, ale może gdzieś jest to w jakiś sposób wpisane w nasze DNA, może to jest coś naturalnego bardzo. Jeśli nam się nie uda połączyć, zapraszam do wspólnej jeszcze ciągle rozmowy na ten temat. Proszę bardzo. Tak. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Is it possible again? Can you hear us again? Yes?
Yes.
Oh, beautiful, wonderful. So there was one more question from the audience.
Yes.
And the question is,
Yes.
of course, about musical aspects, but about inspiration. You have any composers who really inspire you, who was really interesting, important for you?
Sorry,
for
I
music?
can't understand. I'm sorry, I can't understand. I can't hear you well.
You can hear me, okay? Yeah.
Can you repeat yourself? Is the connection very
Yes,
bad?
yes, I
Connection
know,
is
I
very-
know, I understand. So again, our question was about the inspiration coming from other composers.
About what?
About composers,
what?
inspiration. Do you have any composers who inspired you? Global composers from whole world, Western European culture or Iranian culture, or is there any inspiration coming from other composers for you personally?
I'm sorry. Any
Inspiration.
the connection is.
Inspiration.
You talk about other Iranian composers. I
Yes,
think.
or just composers, other composers that inspired you personally.
Whether other composers inspired me. Well, you know, Bartok. When I read about his life certainly, and the idea that he went back to Hungarian knowledge, anyhow, traditional knowledge, whatever. I think it meant a great deal to his music to have this connection. But apart from Bartok, have I really been impressed by anybody else? No. I think it's so different. Because Bartok was a part of the Western tradition anyhow. And so all he had was just to find himself through Hungarian music. But my experience, as Mr. Cornwell said, it was totally Western oriented. Totally. So I had my mother who had played guitar, and we did have a guitar player in our house who would play, but when I was a child, perhaps some Iranian and not traditional kind of light music of that kind. But how I will, however, my teacher was a German teacher, and then or when I went to Britain, yeah, it was with scales and tones and half tones. And, so, but when I came back, I must have been searching. I mean, I'm the kind of person who was interested in more ideas and knowledge about things one doesn't know. And so I was very intrigued by Gaspar music, all you want. And not kind of intrigued, I loved it. I really loved it then. And playing it gave me a new feeling, a new experience of music, which must have been very important when I began, when I was commissioned to write, and I wrote chapter and all that. It must have been a complete entity of different ideas related to learning music, I'm sure. Because, or just hearing one note, or would that be, I think, more a philosophical or more mystic understanding of music when you only think of one note? And surely I could have got that from my inner experience of young literature or of my own experiences. I don't know. Maybe. So, because I mean, in Iranic music, it is a melodic music, the Gaspar music. You can't just concentrate on one note only. But I must have got something from it. I must have got some inner idea, something that meant something to me. I don't know. I wish somebody could tell me what happened. But Mr. Corner, which perhaps they'll be finding somewhere. It'd be very interesting to know what it was. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Rozumiem, że podsumujemy sobie teraz troszkę tę wypowiedź, bo też nie wiem, na ile wszystko jest dla nas, dla Państwa czytelne, ale jak widać, to jest twórczość, która jest absolutnie na tym pomoście rozpięta. Być może nie spodziewaliby się Państwo takiej odpowiedzi, że inspiracja to Bela Bartok i jego twórczość. Jeśli się spodziewamy, proszę mi wybaczyć taką pewność wypowiedzi kierowaną przecież do Europejczyków, ale spodziewamy się, że jeśli przygotowanie muzyczne europejskie, no to tutaj strzelamy wręcz innymi nazwiskami. To fantastyczne połączenie akurat z twórczością Beli Bartoka. Natomiast wspomina też kompozytorka właśnie po raz wtóry postać swojej nauczycielki niemieckiej. Możemy sobie wyobrazić mniej więcej, co w 40 latach w ramach edukacji muzycznej proponowano wtedy dzieciom, a więc to jest coś, z czym chyba my też, będąc w szkołach muzycznych, dorastamy. To jest ten sam repertuar podstawowy. Natomiast wraca właśnie ten fenomen pojedynczego dźwięku. I tutaj wspomniała też kompozytorka o instrumencie, który słyszała właśnie od czasów dzieciństwa, to jest tar. Ja myślę, że też popularność tych dwóch instrumentów, chordofonów, to są instrumenty szarpane, które mają bardzo głęboką tradycję. One wymiennie jakby tak gdzieś funkcjonują. Setar teraz częściej się zdarza nam zobaczyć, a więc instrument po prostu trzystrunowy, a tar jest jednostrunowym instrumentem.
Matka grała na tarze.
Tak jest. I tu jest właśnie ten fenomen tego pojedynczego dźwięku, który ma znaczenie ogromne. Wspomniała też kompozytorka, że właśnie zgłębiała bardziej muzykę, która wynika jakby mogę powiedzieć po naszemu ze stosowania Destach, czyli systemu skal, które są podstawowe dla rozumienia też repertuaru radif. I teraz dla nas znowu też repertuar, prawda? Co znaczy słowo repertuar? No w przypadku perskiej muzyki irańskiej to jest zupełnie inne rozumienie repertuaru jako takiego, a więc są to pewne przejścia, to są stany, to są struktury rytmiczne i to jest poezja. Ona o tym nie mówi tutaj, ale też proszę mi wybaczyć, że takie wtręty stosuję, ale nie jest to za każdym razem czytelne dla wszystkich. Akurat jest to muzyka, która wymaga głębszych studiów i rozumienia właśnie też stosowania instrumentów, czy skal, czy wręcz pojedynczych dźwięków w pewnym kontekście. To wszystko tam ma swoje symboliczne i metaforyczne znaczenie. A więc wygląda na to, że to jest muzyka pomiędzy. Okay. So we're back with another one question. Yes.
May I add there that people, I mean the musicians in Iran, they don't consider my music, not all of them consider it to be Iranian. I mean, there is a mixture. There is how can I say? I am not very sure understand that this is Iranian and with the Western technique. Very few perhaps can understand that. I personally, I do use material, perhaps now I can, of ideas that would be related to Western, to Iranian classical music. But it is not conscious, you know, and I mean, I don't think of thinking, all right, I'm going to do this. No. The idea when it comes, I suppose, could be related to some, cultural or historical perspective. No?
Tak, i tu mamy odpowiedź
But
właśnie
it-
na to, że ta muzyka...
Western and Iran.
Przepraszam, że to nie jest muzyka, która bywa od razu na pierwsze wrażenie słuchowe doświadczana jako muzyka irańska, prawda, czy perska. Okej. Czy jeszcze jakieś pytanie od Państwa? Tak, poproszę.
Hello, good morning. My name is Julie, and I had a question for you. I am studying composition here in Warsaw, and I wanted to ask you a more technical question about your process, about the process of your compositions. And so, what happens in your head and in your work between the moments of the idea that appears in your head and the final touches of the piece, and when the piece is finished? What is your process? How do you deal with the transcription of the idea onto musical sheet?
Are you talking about Shakuk?
Yes, but not only. It can refer to your pieces and your works in general.
No, I'm saying because Shakuk is an exception in my work, you know. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very well.
But with Shakuk, the whole thing was, first of all, Daniel was based on harmonics. I don't use the normal, shall we say, system of playing and all that. So I worked out all the harmonics that I can get from each string and how to get it, which harmonic is it, whether it will sound a fifth higher or higher and all that. So I did quite a lot of, I drew my diagram and everything like that, and I got that ready. And therefore, and in order to get the sort of quarter tone that I had in mind, then I tuned the different instruments. Each instrument had 2 strings lowered a quarter tone. Therefore, for example, you had taking the violin, I start from the 4th string, you have the G, and the next string probably would be D, Re, Coron. And then you have a natural for the string, And finally, for the E string, probably one set would be a quarter tone lower. So I had these different tunings for instruments. So with that, then I was able to get my harmonics. Otherwise, it would not have been possible. So as I said, it all began with a high harmonic E, and then I tried just to keep it to the end of the movement as much as I could, because sometimes I couldn't always. And then for the next movement, I took just one idea, and I thought how interesting to have the bassi and the cello just thrilling away. I mean, that really was exciting. And how can I work it out so that it would give the idea that I want? So that, and then for the third movement, I thought, surely I can work on just one note on the fa. But on one condition that I did a F plus, an F minus, and then I can get an half a tone higher, half a tone lower. So for an F, I devised 5 Fs, 5, if I'm not mistaken. So I had different Fs, bars, different pipes. Usually heard in clusters, but sometimes not always in cluster. And so that it just worked out. And it was very interesting to me to work it out. I loved it. But the fourth movement, as you notice, is a disintegration of all ideas, and you just have clusters, and then some notes coming out of the clusters. So I had a set of strings. One had a B flat, another had a B courant, another had an A plus, another had an A, another had A minus. And that sort of thing, or you could hear them all together. So it gives you a very sort of piercing or disturbing sound. But then at the end, you get 1 or 2 strings heard alone, either as a quarter tone. Mostly I noticed it was a quarter tone, but not always. And so I worked it out, each movement like that. And finally, it got to be the most interesting idea for the final movement would be a tree-like final, a tree-like. So I had to work all that out again. One instrument, for example, playing the do, re, another one, do, quarter tone, maybe added, and then a third quarter, etc. And then I had the all of the instruments working on that pattern to the end. And finally, it just empties itself. And you get back to the original E that you had heard. So it was worked out.
Thank you very much.
Clear?
Yes, that was very interesting. Czy powinnam przetłumaczyć? Dobrze. Przede wszystkim technika, którą zastosowała pani kompozytor, to była skordatura. To się przewija na przestrzeni wszystkich części, czyli przestrajenie poszczególnych strun, tak żeby po pierwsze uzyskać bardzo przenikliwą barwę, gdzie się nakładają bardzo bliskie dźwięki, a po drugie, żeby uzyskać szersze pole harmoniczne. Więc to brzmi, jakby był jeden dźwięk, ale jednak barwowo jest to bardzo zróżnicowane. Opowiadała również, że w ostatniej części szeroko zastosowała trylę na tej samej podstawie, że nadal właśnie stosowała skordaturę i na tej skordaturze jeszcze dodatkowo trylę. I wydaje mi się, że to była taka główna technika, którą zastosowała pani kompozytor w celu zróżnicowania tego dźwięku, w celu przetworzenia, że pomimo tego, że bazujemy na jednym dźwięku, na jednej wysokości, to nie jest jednostajne i to nie jest jednorodne i to się cały czas przeobraża i zmienia i wydaje mi się, że to było bardzo ciekawe i bardzo mądre, szczególnie, że instrumenty smyczkowe właśnie pozwalają na takie manipulacje. Uważam, że to jest bardzo, bardzo ciekawe zastosowanie tej techniki. Thank you very much.
Okay, do we have still one more question to our composer? Martyna. Hello.
Hello. Hello, Martina.
Yeah, I'm very happy that we can make this conversation today, and I can also ask one more question of you.
Please go ahead if I can answer. Yeah.
Well, my question is that I know that you are fascinated by the concept of developing material from this one note and working it out through the whole piece. But I also know that...
So, can you repeat it again? I couldn't hear it's not very clear what you're saying.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me well?
Now, this is all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know that you like the concept of working on one note, but I know that you really are rooted in the practices of meditation. Meditation is very important for you. And I wonder if there is any kind of connection between you practicing meditation and the music you compose. It can be in Shab Cook, but I think that it is even more important in your later works. Piano music, like the cycle Prema or the Dreamland Quartet. Could you say something about it?
Yes. At the time I wrote Shab Cook, I did not do any meditation. I was not involved in meditation. I was always very much interested and intrigued. And I remember once when I was at Edinburgh, Maharishi came to give a talk. And he arrived in Edinburgh, and I was just walking in the street. And then I saw, there's a poster, and Maharishi, and there was a picture of Maharishi. And I looked at the time of the talk, and I had only 5 minutes to get there. So I ran, literally ran until I could get to the hall. And at that time, I knew nothing about the Indian tradition of meditation. I knew, but I was not into it. You hear about these things, but at that time, in Europe, people didn't talk about meditation. I'm talking about early 60s. So I ran to the hall where he was supposed to come. So he came, and he gave a wonderful talk. I was absolutely enchanted by what he said. And then I thought, why don't I go and speak to him? So that's what I did. I waited till everybody went out, and then I went at the back. I saw, and they showed me, and they said, he's in that room. So I opened, and this was a very special place, obviously for meditation. This was one part of the room was higher than the rest, and then there was Maharishi in lotus position, crossword, and meditating. So I looked at him. He opened his eyes, and he looked at me. He didn't say a single word. And I didn't say a single word. And he just looked at me. And I suppose at that moment he was looking at my future and my life or whatever coming ahead. And so quietly I just came out. So that was my first experience then. But when I wrote Shab Cook, I did have the experience of knowing people who knew the Indian tradition very well. Lucy Saigon, Dr. Saigon, and other people that he wanted to meet people. And I was in a circle of shall we say, people who were intellectual, very knowledgeable about the various cultures in the world, especially India, and then my own experience of Iranian culture. So my contact with Indian culture started after the revolution, when I went to India. And I went to the ashram of Sathya Sai Baba. So that was a complete revelation in my life, complete transformation, complete. The idea that you are obsessed sometimes of impressing people by what you write, that you are writing for this and that, and you're writing because of that. All that finally it made sense to me when I listened to his discourses, and he made me understand that all idea of art is dedicated to God. I mean, you look at, and then when I look back, Bach, Beethoven, so many people, surely it must have been that kind of experience, and that Baba was talking about. And then I understood, yes, true music finally is dedicated to God. Even Shokhaisen, even Messiaen. And then I noticed that Messiaen was a complete Catholic and always writing for Jesus. So I understood that my past must remain in that area and find my own self through that path, which I think this is not conscious, you know that. But I did think in my piano pieces that I was getting somewhere near there, perhaps, I hope. And that was that, you're right.
Okay, thank you so much. Was there also a little bit of Sufi tradition, or not really? Sufi.
What tradition?
Sufi.
Joking tradition, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Well, I tried to write what they call bhajans. Bhajans are simple devotional music, very simple devotional congregational music. So that if you are you write your bhajan, and then each line that you sing is repeated by a congregation, by another set of people. And that was for me a very rewarding idea. And then the whole thing is repeated in a very much faster tempo. So my ideas during these years that I went to India was to try and concentrate on this kind of relationship with people through these bhajans. And I noticed that it influenced myself very much. So I'm sure some people must have had something through that. But apart from that, I'm concentrated on my piano music, as you know, and very little orchestral music, really. I had the quartet, then I had two commissions finally from the Hanover Society of Modern Music and the German, what was it? I forgot the name.
Yeah, but I remember the piece here and there that was performed in Hanover some years ago. So that I also can feel this kind of extensive way of developing music lines in time. The time duration is really important there.
Yeah. Yes, It's interesting because I suppose being an Iranian and having the Western and the Iranian background, and then having the Indian or superimposed on its own, can give you an idea of the sort of music that perhaps came out later. I don't know. I'm only thinking of it now. Yeah, I suppose so.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the answer. I will make a very short summary in Polish. Także ja spytałam kompozytorkę o jej inspirację medytacją oraz kulturą indyjską. Wiem również, że jest zainspirowana i głęboko zafascynowana tradycjami buddyjskimi. I powiedziała tylko w szczególności tyle, że za czasów pisania szapkuk jeszcze nie była związana z tą tradycją, ale potem, gdy w Edynburgu po raz pierwszy miała spotkanie z medytacją, to zrozumiała, że to może być pewnego rodzaju droga odkrycia siebie i tym, kim może być w przyszłości. Przynajmniej ja to tak troszeczkę mistycznie również interpretuję. I tego rodzaju fascynację dźwiękiem właśnie poprzez medytację, poprzez zatapianie się w jednym powtarzalnym dźwięku, który można przekształcać w jakiekolwiek różnego rodzaju kierunki, możemy dosłyszeć w jej ostatniej twórczości w cyklach utworów fortepianowych Prema. Wydaje mi się również, że poniekąd w suicie fortepianowej Irana i w ostatnich utworach na większe zespoły orkiestralne, które były grane w Niemczech parę lat temu. Można je znaleźć na YouTubie po niektóre. Yes?
Can I ask you a question? Or do you feel that this, no, not Chapcook, that was before, but what you have heard, would you say that there is a relationship between meditation and that? I'm very intrigued. I've never thought about it.
Yes, for me, I have the feeling, but I also know that you were into that, and the way of developing the sound, maybe in Chapcook, what it was still coming from inside you, and you were not aware of it. But definitely the piano works and also Farogi and the Dreamland Quartet, all of them, they have this kind of longing and sustained landscapes in music. That's why it gives me idea that it could be connected to meditation.
I'm interested to hear that. I'm just not sure. You know, I really am not sure. But you use the word meditation. I would use another word for it. I would use the word inner transformation, perhaps.
Okej. Także kompozytorka zamiast słowa medytacja sugeruje używać słowa wewnętrzna transformacja, co jest bardzo dobre. Yes, we all agree and are happy with your correction of this word. It is really closer to the idea of your music. I am going to pass the microphone to Aleksandra because I took it very violently.
Oh, for too long. No, not too long. It was your inner imperative to do this, definitely. Fozié, I don't know what to say. I'm really so touched. I only wish it would be much better to have you here, just in person. But I feel really wonderful that we could talk with you online, at least, about your music. And I think like your spirit is here with us and your presence is so strong. So thank you again for your music. Thank you for your musical life. And this what you bring to European culture and to the world just. Maybe it's pathetic what I'm taking and what I'm saying now, but that's what I feel. And I think that sometimes we really hungry for beautiful words and for beauty. So this means your music in this word, to me at least, is just a and beauty is still not enough. You know, it's a wonderful music. So thank you again, and I'm so sorry that the connection was maybe not so good to understand everything.
May I
So-
say a few words?
Yes, please. I wanted to ask you about this.
Yes, I am so sorry that I couldn't manage to come to Warsaw. I was looking forward to it. I had organized everything. I packed my suitcase. I got all ready. Everything was ready. The taxi was supposed to come get me. And I have no idea what happened. I have no idea what happened. All I know is in the morning I woke up and I said, "Oh, I'm not going." As simple as that. There was no logic. Later on, I thought, I told myself, "Are you crazy? Are you mad?" I mean, you can't do that sort of thing. But I just don't know what happened. I got up in the morning, I woke up and I said, "Oh, I'm not going. I'm not going." And that was that. That was that. And I rang Mr. Kornovi straight away. I was so sorry. I just could not give an explanation apart from the fact that I was not feeling well. Well, I wasn't feeling well. I slept all day long. But I could have said, "I'll ring you tomorrow," or "I'll ring you the day after tomorrow and see how I am, you know." But I just thought, no, I'm not going. I'm not.
So this is a part
and I
of this
couldn't
inner
understand.
transformation. Yeah. So
Well, I was very sorry afterwards. I was very annoyed with myself. I mean, I just don't know what happened. And all I can say is I don't know what happened. I hope I'm forgiven. Mr. Kornovich forgives me for this really, I don't know what. I really don't know what. I was very sorry not to join you. Well, it just happened.
this has
like
happened.
this.
Yes, but at least thanks to the technology, we can see each other and talk. And I really I need to repeat this. I feel so blessed and so honored that I could see you, hear your voice, and just make this beautiful meeting be at least online possible for us. So here is the audience. I think it's a fantastic group of fans of your music, people really interested about this and what you're doing. And so we wanted to say hello, everybody in the camera. Hello. And again,
hello.
thank you for your music and for your presence today. So we are closing this meeting, but staying in hope that we can see in the future and we still can listen your beautiful music. Thank you again, and see you again. Thanks to Idin and Martina for
Thank
helping me with this connection today. Mani, of course, yes. Thanks to him, we could make this connection be possible. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Could I send a message for Mr. Kornovich and say thank you very much for inviting me. I was really happy when you invited me. I was looking forward to coming. I was looking forward to meeting you, seeing the orchestra, Mr. Marsh, and everything. But unfortunately, I don't know what happened.
Fozié,
As simple as that.
I would like to add
yeah.
that you had a wonderful performance yesterday, and we'll send you a recording soon from this concert. I hope that you will share this opinion that you would like this performance which took place yesterday. Many thanks. I'm sure that's not last presence at Warsaw Autumn, and let's keep in touch. Many thanks for your presence with music and today in conference. I think that a certain mystery, what happened that you couldn't come here, it is something which is we belong to the poetry surrounding everything what we are doing, what you are doing. Many thanks, and till the next possibility to talk and to change ideas and feelings. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.